Human beings spend an incredible amount of mental energy trying to map out the future. We predict, we plan, and we scheme, all in an attempt to build a fortress against potential suffering. But treating tomorrow as a puzzle to be solved today comes with a cost. This psychological fixation on events that haven't happened yet triggers a real, immediate physiological stress response. When we constantly worry, our bodies flood with cortisol and adrenaline. Over time, that chronic state of alarm strains the cardiovascular system and suppresses our immune function. We end up living a strange biological paradox. In our desperate attempt to protect ourselves from future problems that might not even materialize, we damage the physical health we need to navigate the present. The physical strain of chronic worry makes the ability to stop obsessing over tomorrow a requirement for long-term survival. This exact psychological loop is addressed in one of the most famous ancient texts in history, the Sermon on the Mount, where the Gospel of Matthew advises listeners to not worry about tomorrow. In the original Koine Greek, the passage ends bluntly. The King James translates it, "Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof." Modern versions state, "Each day has enough trouble of its own." Theologian Ulrich Luz notes this isn't an optimistic carpe diem philosophy. Luz argues that the text acknowledges that the suffering of each individual day is so overbearing, it is hard enough just to survive until sunset. Borrowing tomorrow's pain only ensures exhaustion. For centuries, this passage has been treated as spiritual poetry, but recent research forces us to ask, could this ancient mandate to abandon the future actually be a testable medical intervention? Studying the relationship between religion and health is famously difficult. Researchers often rely on attendance records, but those fail to capture a person's actual psychological posture. To fix this, psychologists Andrea Clements and Anna Ermakova used the surrender scale. It's a tool designed to quantify the specific, active process of relinquishing one's own will and desires to a higher power. They applied this scale to a specific demographic: pregnant women facing low-income and high-risk medical situations in southern Appalachia. They also evaluated a second group, university students facing the high-stress environment of academic final exams. These groups represent populations facing immense, immediate stress over critical future outcomes, making them a clear biological testing ground to see if ancient wisdom holds up under clinical observation. In the data, we see a clear inverse relationship. As scores on the surrender scale rise, measured stress markers drop. Participants showed significant drops in situational state anxiety and baseline trait anxiety. Researchers identified two pathways. First, religious principles steer people away from risky situations, reducing actual stressors. The second mechanism is the reduction of perceived stress. When an individual believes a benevolent higher power is in control, it can short-circuit the biological panic response. The responsibility for orchestrating the future shifts away from the individual, lowering the psychological stakes of adversity. These findings suggest that surrender functions as an active psychological defense mechanism, one that can physically shield the body from the toxicity of chronic worry. Knowing that surrender is biologically beneficial doesn't make it easy. Our survival instincts urge us to hold on, making it difficult to relinquish control of what happens tomorrow. Even religious practices can become a performative trap, where prayer is used merely as a transaction to manipulate God and secure a specific future outcome. Author Ed Sizevsky found a way out of this trap through the work of Thomas Merton, a 20th century Trappist monk. Merton advocated for contemplative prayer, which involves sitting in silence and offering no words. It is an exercise in stopping the mental performance of worry. This practice of silent acceptance is a real-world application of the surrender measured in the clinic. It is the choice to stop trying to control the uncontrollable. Choosing to drop the heavy baggage of tomorrow and face only the single day in front of us is a profound strategy for navigating the modern world, one backed by both ancient practice and modern clinical data.